Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks. Live update, Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m. here on mainland Spain, Madrid time that is. Of course, 1 hour less in the Canary Islands. And we're going to go through some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press over the last couple of days. We'll have a look at some comments that have been left on recent videos also. And we'll dive into the chat section here and also see what is going on there. Now, remember that this upcoming week, there's going to be live streams on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, can't guarantee because I haven't been able to change my regular schedule just yet with regard to Wednesdays, but Thursdays as well. So one extra live stream this week, I should say, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at the moment. And we're going to try a new type of live stream tomorrow. We're going to have a look at the news first, then the comments like I would in a normal news video, and then we'll go into the chat section for the second half of the video. Try something different. Now, I'll put the like icon on the screen. If you haven't hit the like icon yet, just below the video, you can do it now if you please. Just below the video, you will find it, and it'll help keep me motivated, as you guys know, as I go through the news today. Now, the first piece of news that caught my attention, a recurring topic on this channel about the 90-180 day rule that British people especially are now getting used to. It's always been like that for the rest of us, but now people in the United Kingdom are getting used to this new rule and people want change. Hence this article. Spain could pay the price for the 90-day rule in the long term. Mallorca homeowner and leading British businessman Andrew Heselden last year launched the 180 Days in Spain campaign to challenge the 90-day rule and see that this has changed, at least in Spain, and his efforts have gained massive momentum and widespread support from Britons across the UK and elsewhere in the EU. The fallout from Brexit is still raining down on millions of people, not least Britons who own second homes in Mallorca and Spain in general. And we can see the address of that Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/180 days in Spain, if you want to lend your support to the campaign. Now, as I said, we've spoken about this topic a fair bit, and I'm sure it will pop up in the chat section. I see that there are already a few comments related to this in the chat section. And for people that are not familiar with it, before Brexit, British people had more freedom to come out to Spain. If they had a second home here, they could spend up to, I think they could spend 180 days without having to register before they became tax citizens in this country. So they could spend 180 days in Spain, no problems at all. People were called swallows. They used to come out here to enjoy the good winter weather. And now, of course, they can't do that legally. A 90-day rule has been imposed on the UK since Brexit, the same rule that everybody else has to adhere to. For example, if you come from the States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, any country from outside the European Union, you have to adhere to the 90-day rule. But now Britain's having to also adhere to the rule. And as we saw there, some people not happy, for example, the businessman that we saw, and starting a campaign. Now, I've mentioned it before. Now, I'm not going to give advice on this because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an expert. Somebody frequently mentions this in the chat section or in the comment section on the videos. Always check professionals, this person says. Well, that would be my advice too. But when it comes to the 90-day rule and it being changed only in Spain, considering that it is a Schengen rule, I think that's all part of the problem. So I don't know if they could only change it for one country. That would be my biggest doubt. I'm sure that is a doubt that other people have as well when it comes to changing this rule, because being part of Schengen, it means that there's no borders between neighbouring European Union countries, for example, Portugal, for example, France. So I think something would have to be done related to that 90-day rule also. So I think you would have to lobby the European Union also to get this changed. I could be wrong, but again, I'm not a lawyer, as I pointed out a couple of minutes ago. But feel free to comment on this, and we'll see if we can get some debate and some ideas as to what people think, and if people think it will change this 90-day rule, which, as I said, British people are now subject to. Simon coming in from Lanzarote, Amanda coming in from the UK, Philip coming in from Sussex. here we go. 90-day limit has exiled me back to the UK until February. There we go. That is the problem for many people. A lot of people would like to spend more than 90 days here, especially in the winter months, in the Canaries, on the Levante coast, Andalusia, anywhere basically which has better weather than Great Britain and Northern Ireland or the United Kingdom. I think it's cold. So that would be the issue for a lot of people. Simon saying here that Andorra is not in the Schengen area, so British can do their 90-day exile there. Simon, of course, being Irish, and the 90 days do not apply to him. Thanks for the input there, Simon. Not sure whether that is whether that's possible or not, Simon. Not sure whether you can just nip over the border into Andorra to break that rule. Not sure. Elaine coming in from Chatham in New Jersey, 5 degrees Celsius there. Steppenwolf also coming in. Alan coming in from San Diego still, wishing to get back to El Puerto de Santa Maria, dreaming of El Puerto, says Alan. Barbara coming in from Playa Flamenca in Alicante. Janet coming in from Oxford. And while I see Janet's name there, thank you for, I'm not sure whether it was Janet, but somebody yesterday reminded me that I set the wrong date for the live stream. It was today, but apparently I set the wrong date. And yesterday, some people were waiting for the live stream to begin. And I had to change the date yesterday. And some people were obviously inconvenienced. So I apologize for that. What else we got going on here? Daryl, City fan in the chat. Remy coming in from San Feliu. Getting in the 2023 groove. Yes. Michael coming in from the Costa del Sol. Gino coming in from a cold and sunny Toronto. And Michael coming in from Berlin. And Andrew, regular viewer. All of the regular viewers here, welcome. Coming in from southeast London today. And another regular viewer, Erica, coming in from Catalonia, Terrassa to be exact. So as I said, let us know what you think about this 90-day rule, and if a lobby group like the one that we saw before will be able to change it or not. Let us know your opinions in that chat section. Second piece of news, lights, camera, action. Madrid breaks the record for the number of film shots in 1 year in the city. It's not easy to stop the maelstrom of thousands and thousands of cars and pedestrians that circulate along Madrid's Gran Via, the busiest shopping street in Spain and the third busiest in Europe. But on Sunday, the 23rd of October, Madrileños, or Madrileños, or people from Madrid, and tourists woke up to find that one of the capital's main thoroughfares cut off. No one was able to access the street between 6 in the morning and midday. Last year, the Madrid City Council, through the Filming Authorizations Department, processed 10,849 applications for filming on public roads. Of these, 39% were for permits to occupy space for medium and large crews, and the rest were free of charge for small crews. The former pay €48.65 for issuing the administrative documents and 58 cents per linear meter requested for each day of filming. So there we go, Madrid becoming a popular place for film crews and movies in this country. And as we saw here, the busiest street in Spain is Madrid's Gran Via. Anybody who's walked along the Gran Via will know that that is the case. It often resembles a street from Manhattan with the amount of people, especially on a Saturday afternoon, evening when people are out and about shopping and doing other things in the center of the city. But cutting it off completely there, as we saw there, to film, and lots of requests to film on the Gran Via. Now I'm going to put the like icon on the screen again. If you have not hit it yet, please do so. Just below the video, you'll find the like button. We'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today. If we can get over the 100 mark, we will see as we get into another piece of news, which is this one. 3 out of 4 provinces now record more immigrant arrivals than births in Spain, with the exception of Extremadura, the interior of Andalusia, and some provinces of Castile and Leon. The whole of Spain now records more immigrant arrivals than births. In other words, the majority of Spain's new population comes from abroad. In line with what is happening in almost all developed countries, our demographic evolution is totally conditioned by immigration. What is more, a quarter of babies born in Spain also have a foreign mother, and the available statistics do not take into account those who receive Spanish nationality before giving birth. To give an example, a newcomer from Colombia can be counted as a foreign mother in the registration of her first child and 3 years later as a Spanish mother in the registration of her second child, because obviously in that 3-year period of residing here in Spain, she is entitled to ask for Spanish citizenship coming from South America. The advantage that South Americans have compared to the rest of us who have to wait 10 years to be able to ask for Spanish citizenship. So that's it. And as we saw there, 3 out of 4 provinces now record more immigrant arrivals than births. But Extremadura, the interior of Andalusia, and some provinces of Castilla and Leon, that is not the case, and basically because people do not want to live in those places. The interior of Andalusia, extremely hot in summer, wouldn't want to live there. Some parts of Castilla and Leon, you wouldn't want to live there either. Nothing much going on. And Extremadura, the same problem as Andalusia, with extreme summers and not really much, not many jobs, I should say, in that part of the country. Hence, no immigration. Now, into the chat section here quickly. Let's see what's going on. Amanda coming, we saw Amanda before. Grant coming in here from Sierra. Saw Grant was waiting yesterday. Again, sorry for that, Grant, for wasting your time. Christian coming in from Chile, Los Angeles. Alan coming in from Belez, Malaga, down there in the east side of Malaga. Jay coming in, glad to watch the live stream. Orlando, United States, Florida. Richard also coming in from Florida. UB, can't pronounce that second name there. Coming in from Pennsylvania, 40 degrees Fahrenheit, not winter. And Fly coming in from Stockport, UK. Good evening. And Ed coming in from Barcelona. Ed sent me through a few emails today, some pictures of Barcelona, I believe. So I'll check those out when I get the opportunity. All right, good. Now, fourth piece of news. Spain's best sheep's cheese in Spain, or the best sheep's cheese in Spain, is made in a small village in Ourense. Since 2000, the Junta de Castilla y León has been honouring the cheeses of the world with the Chincho Awards, where the best national and international cheeses compete. To find the best sheep's cheese in the country, we have to travel to Celanova, a Galician village in the province of Ourense, where since 1940, the Feijó cheese factory has been making this cheese with 100% pasteurized sheep's milk. Feijó Cheeses has had 4 master cheesemakers in its 70 years as a factory. From the first to the last, they have preserved the artisan recipe inherited from the monastery of San Salvador de Celanova a century ago. So there we go. If you are a cheese lover or a sheep's cheese lover in Spain, the best one, according to this survey, is found in Galicia. Feijó Cheeses. Now, I'm not sure whether this company is related to the opposition leader, Mr. Feijó. They share the same name there, Feijó Cheeses, and Alberto Núñez Feijó, the leader of the opposition party, the Partido Popular. Not sure if there's any connection there, but if you like a good sheep's cheese, I'm sure you will find that that one is to your liking. And as we know, Spain, a country with some fantastic cheeses. Not only the famous Manchego, but other varieties as well. Good cheeses in Extremadura, good cheeses in Castilla y León, well, good cheeses in Galicia, as we saw there. Asturias has good cheeses. Virtually all the country produces good cheeses. The Canaries as well, I think, produces fairly good cheese. So if you are a cheese lover, and let us know what your favourite cheese is in that chat section there, please. Now, we've got through the news for today. I'm going to change the background now. This background was sent in by Igor, and it's a picture of Tenerife. Not the usual beach shot that we would see of Tenerife, more of a mountain shot. Countryside down there in Tenerife, looking very green. So thanks for sending that one in, Igor. And if you've got a picture that you would like to see in the background, similar to this one, on the green screen, this is the address, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Had quite a few sent in recently, so it might take me a while to get through them, but I will eventually get your shot on the background here. So thanks, Igor, for sending that in, and spainspeaks@gmail.com if you would like to see your picture on the background here. If you are a photographer or you like to take the odd holiday snap, please send it through. All right, now the like icon going back on the screen, just below the video, you will find it. If you have not hit the like button yet, please do so. We've just hit the 100 mark, so thank you very much for that. Now, what else we got going on here? Basingstoke, Sani coming in. What else? Michelle coming in from a clear, beautiful Vigo. If it's clear in Vigo, I imagine that it's cold, Michelle. Let us know. What else we got going on here? Simon saying that some with second homes in Spain actually voted for Brexit. People didn't bother to find out. Most likely true, Simon, that people weren't given that information, of course. But as we know, there was a lot of information circulating around that time. What else we got going on here? Richard, as an American, the 180-day rule would be amazing. With remote work, it could bring in so much money to the Spanish economy. Half the year here and half the year there. Exactly, but I'm not sure whether it would change for everybody or whether it would just be a British change, which is what they are lobbying for. But I suppose that if you changed it for one third country, you would most likely have to change it for everyone else as well. Yeah, I imagine so, Richard. Thanks for pointing that out. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. John the Travelling Wino back in Brighton, getting colder and windy. Howard, the British wanted out of the EU. Did they think that there would be no consequences? Yeah, well, not everybody wanted out. It was a referendum, as we know, Howard. I think it was 51-49, so it was fairly close. But as we know, these are some of the consequences of that. And I suppose that some of the finer details just weren't mentioned or brought up during that campaign. Not sure. Iggy coming in from Jaén, Mallorca, under the sun. The digital nomad visa will allow third country citizens to live in Spain and work remotely. Don't forget. True, that is true, but you have to meet the criteria, of course, and some people won't meet the criteria, but other people that do have the conditions to get that visa, for example, certain income levels, working for certain types of companies, will be able to take advantage of that new visa when it comes up. And of course, it is a blessing for a lot of digital nomads in the United Kingdom to work in Spain and other European countries that have a similar type of nomad. Thanks, Mallorca Under the Sun, and check out Mallorca Under the Sun's channel on YouTube too. All right, what else you got going on? Debbie coming in from Los Angeles. Rosie coming in from Florida. Freezing today there. I've checked the weather out for Florida. A little bit cold today, but getting warmer as the week goes on, Rosie. Or at least it was in, I think, Miami. Going to be 26 or 27 degrees later in the week. Jay coming in from Peñíscola, an hour north of Valencia in Castellón. Asking the question, any suggestions about the best place to live in either Spain or Portugal for an expat or foreign resident? Yes, well, we'll put the question up there, Jay. Let him hear or let them know in the chat section as to some of the better places to live in Spain or Portugal. Two different countries when it comes to living, I think. But both have their pros and cons. So we'll see if we can get a bit of a debate happening in the chat section. Lol coming in from a cold York, United Kingdom. 1, 2, 3, Sean Away coming in from Ireland. And what else we got going on here quickly? Let's have a look. Robert also coming in from Ireland. So I'll get into the chat section in a minute. Now, first comment that was left on a video recently, this one here from Miguel, regular viewer Miguel. In my opinion, people make excuses for not using cycling lanes. Okay, I'm not cycling to work because it's 40 kilometres away from home. I'm in the office only 2 days a week. However, the rest of the days I cycle everywhere. Shopping, doctors, gym appointments, pleasure, etc. I cycled everywhere when I was in Barcelona in the 1990s. Cycle lanes sure do divide debate. I've been talking about them recently on the channel here, and it's amazing to see some of the comments that are coming in from people that either love cycle lanes, see it as the future, or people that despise cycle lanes because it gets in the way of their day-to-day commuting and things like that. And if you can't if you can't ride to work, which is the case of Miguel, and I pointed it out the other day that where I live here, probably 80%, 85% of people that don't work here. They work in another part of the city, which means they have to get there either on public transport or by private car, because you can't basically, once you get out of this city, you can't cycle anywhere because the main roads are not adapted for cycling. You do sometimes see people riding their bikes along the motorways, but they're taking their life into their own hands, in my opinion. And cycling. I mean, when the weather gets better, I love cycling. Last year I was cycling almost on a daily basis, getting out on my bike, and I will be taking advantage of these new cycle lanes that we have here. But there are a lot of people not happy with cyclists and cycle lanes interfering with their regular commute. And as I said, it is a topic that divides opinion, but I'm not anti-cyclist. I'm not anti-cycle lanes. I just think they need to be done a little bit better to try to keep everyone happy, not only cyclists but motorists too. All right, good. Now another comment here quickly from Lisa. I read an article similar to what you were saying, rebuying meat, and the top place to buy was Bon Area, but I do believe this is a Catalan company. Now, this topic popped up the other day because the Consumer Association here in Spain, FACUA, Consumidores en Acción, published an article, or I think it was an article in their monthly journal or weekly journal, where they said that a lot of supermarkets here in Spain, the quality of fresh meat and fresh fish is not very high. They did point out a few supermarkets, or some supermarkets that were quite good. The three top supermarkets belong to the same company, which is El Corte Inglés. So you've got El Corte Inglés supermarkets, you've got Hipercor supermarkets, and then Supercor supermarkets, which all belong to the El Corte Inglés. And the quality very high according to FACUA. But some supermarkets didn't do very well. For example, Dia when it comes to fresh meat, Mercadona when it comes to fresh meat, not doing too well. And we saw there Lisa Jane pointing out that Bon Area. Now, I've never heard of Bon Area, but I looked them up, and they're not a Catalan company. Apparently, they come from Madrid, on the outskirts of Madrid, a place called Getafe, from what I have seen. And it's a meat processing company where they take meat, cut it up, put it into packages, and then put it into supermarkets. So, don't know what the quality would be like. I prefer going to a traditional butcher whenever I buy meat. I prefer going to a traditional fishmonger whenever I buy fish, if you can find them. They are disappearing more and more as the days go by, because supermarkets are creeping in on this area as well. But if you do go to a supermarket to get fresh fish or fresh meat, there are some good ones. And the ones that were pointed out before were the El Corte Inglés. If you've got one of those close by, you might have to pay a little bit more, but you are getting high quality produce, but expensive produce today also. So thanks for that, Lisa Jane. And as I said, my recommendation would be to go to one of the fresh markets around the place, where you can find 5 or 6 butchers, 4 or 5 fishmongers in each market. Those would be the places to buy your produce if you can find one. In the big cities mainly, they are around. Alan coming in from a cold and wet southeast London, thinking that Madrid's a little bit warmer. Don't know what the temperature is in southeast London there, Alan, but this week's going to be cold in Madrid. I think some days it's not going to get above 8 degrees Celsius, and quite windy as well for the first few days of the week. So don't know. Can't say. I can't compare the two cities at the moment, but Madrid normally a little bit warmer, I would say, than London, or at least you get that impression with the sun shining. Andres coming in from Pasadena, California. A joke here from UB. Sheep's cheese is not bad. All right, good. Thanks for that one there. All right. What else we got going on here? Ed saying that they love a cheese board after a meal or before. Is this a tradition in other countries? Not sure, Ed. We'll put it out there. We'll see if we can get some feedback on that for you. Darryl likes French cheeses and would not have ever tried them if he had not moved here. All French cheese, Spanish cheese. You can buy plenty of French cheese. English cheeses are limited here in Spain. I've only ever seen cheddar. I haven't seen too many varieties of English cheese. You'd probably have to go to a specialist queseria, I would say, cheese shop, to get some more variety. But Spanish cheese is in full supply, especially in the big supermarkets. If you go to a Carrefour, for example, the range of cheeses is quite breathtaking. What else we got going on here? Arthur coming in from a cold and windy northeast England. Your comments on filming reminds me of when I lived near Pinewood Studios, the day when filming was common. Yes, when England had a big film industry, no doubt the old Pinewood Studios. I remember watching movies in my youth that were filmed at Pinewood Studios. A lot of those 60s and 70s British movies coming out of the Pinewood Studios there. Gorgonzola, Dulce, I imagine that is. That's Alan's favourite, or Dolce if it's an Italian cheese, Gorgonzola. So plenty of cheese talk now. Remy also prefers French cheese, but learning more about Spanish cheese at the moment is Remy. Yeah, plenty of Spanish cheeses to try. I would recommend from the Balearic Islands, also good cheeses, Remy, if you can get your hands on one of those cheeses there. Freeze warnings for southern Florida tonight, says Rosie. Super chat from Alan, £10. Thank you very much. Have a Rioja on me, Stu. Will do, Alan. Thank you very much for that. I'll be able to get myself a nice bottle with that. Thank you very much. Good Rioja or Ribera del Duero, which I had yesterday. Fantastic. What else we got going on here? Brian, hi Stuart. Can you recommend a good, strong, mature cheese that's sold in most supermarkets? Yeah, Brian, anyone that has the word viejo on it, okay? Curado or viejo. And normally you'll see them, they're quite dark in colour, a dark yellow colour, and also quite hard. Those would be my recommendations. The semi-curados are normally a more whitey, yellowy colour, if that makes sense, and a softer. But if you go for the darker yellows, almost sometimes gold colour, well, not really gold, but a dark yellow, let's say, you will find the ones that are the most cured, and they normally say viejo or old on the packet. So if you see one of those cheeses, Alan, try it out, and also just do a bit of a finger test, just lightly squeeze the cheese and see if it is quite solid. And you can also, if you walk into a supermarket that has a guy or a woman behind the counter at the cheese section, you can ask them to try the cheese. They'll be more than willing to offer you a small piece of cheese so that you can try it out. So just say, por favor, puedo probar ese queso de ahí, and they will no doubt let you try the cheese before you buy. And if you like it, you can buy more. So that would be my recommendation, Brian, but normally one that says queso viejo, okay? Maybe we can do a cheese video. I'll try and find some cured cheeses to try with a nice glass of Rioja. All right, good. Janet, can't imagine that will change the 90-day rule just for Brits. I certainly didn't vote for Brexit, but it is what it is. Absolutely, Janet. And again, that would be my doubt. How could you just change it for one country, considering that there are so many countries classified as third countries? That would be, as I said, my biggest doubt also. But anyway. All right, now time to change the backdrop. This one was sent in from Kathleen, and it's another island down there in the Canaries, La Palma, where there was a volcano eruption last year. And as we can see here, a nice picture also, I think, of a mountain or some hills down there, also very green, and some nice vegetation in the foreground there of the picture. So thanks for that one, Kathleen. And if you would like, as I said before, to see your picture on the backdrop here, this is the address, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Send it in, and I will get around to putting it up on the backdrop. But again, make sure that it is in the correct format, which is the landscape format, please. All right, now the like icon back on the screen too, just below there, you can see it. Please hit the like button. You'll find it just below the video. And we'll see if, as I said, we can get up to, or maybe 150 today. We'll see. Now, another comment that was left recently on the channel. This one here from Ken. I agree with your son. A bocadillo de tortilla is an excellent sandwich. Can't buy a tortilla de patatas here, and I find it a chore to make one, says Ken. Yeah, I mentioned this also the other day, that my son, every day when he comes home from school, the first thing that he asks for before he sits down to do his homework is a bocadillo de tortilla. But it's not tortilla de patatas, it's just a normal French omelette, just a normal 2 or 3 egg omelette that I whip up for him and stick it in between 2 pieces of Spanish bread, and away he goes. Very happy with that. I can understand, Ken, that it is a bit of a chore to make a Spanish omelette with the potatoes and the eggs and the oil and things like that. Can get a little bit messy. And nowadays, here in Spain, at least, you can walk into a supermarket and buy them already done. I wouldn't recommend that, because there's nothing better than a tortilla that you make yourself, or if somebody makes one for you. And if you can find a fresh tortilla de patatas, also very, very nice indeed. But as I said, it can be a little bit messy. But if you want to make one, you could probably, make a decent sized one, Ken, put it in the fridge. It might last a few days, and you can just have a slice whenever you want. But the tortilla de patatas, with onion or without onion, that's the debate that a lot of people have. I tried one recently. A friend of mine made one for a competition, and his secret was to put caramelized onions in the tortilla de patatas. So it gave it a little bit of a sweet taste as well, and it was a very tasty tortilla de patatas. So that would be my recommendation when it comes to making it. With onion, yes, but maybe caramelized onions. So, put some onions in a pan, a bit of a saute there with a bit of sugar, and caramelize them, and put them into the tortilla. You get that nice sweet taste as well. So I would recommend that. All right, see if we can get people's tortilla recipes as well. Brian asking the question, how does Spain accommodate asylum seekers? Major problems in the UK? Not sure, Brian. I think they, depending on the age of the asylum seeker, children normally go into some type of state-controlled accommodation, I think, if they come from, African countries. When it comes to other asylum seekers, I have no idea, to be honest, Alan. They don't really talk about it much here in Spain, and I don't think it's on the political radar as an issue like it is in the UK, as you point out here. Not sure. Joss coming in from Granada, cold below the Sierra Nevada mountains. I can imagine that is the case, Joss, down there. What else got going on here? Let's have a look here if I can find one here. Philip's talking about his going back to the UK because of that 90-day rule, because I spend most of my annual 180-day Schengen in Spain. It means in effect, I can't travel to my old home, Germany, and see my godchildren there. So that's another problem of that you are limited to 90 days in the European Union, not only in Spain. So thanks for pointing that out, Philip. What else we got going on here? Stephen also in the chat section here. Getting away from rainy North Wales, back in Spain, with a glass of wine in hand, no doubt. Enjoy, Stephen. Did I get a new bike, asks Michelle. No, I have not got a new bike, Michelle. I've got the same bike that I've had for a number of years now. I'm thinking about getting an electric bike, but they're a little bit expensive, and I'm seeing quite a few electric bikes zipping around the place at the moment, so that would probably be my next bike purchase, an electric bike, but not yet. What else we got going on? Let's have a look here. Plenty of chat activity talking about cheeses. What else? Let's see if I can find something here quickly. Chop shop in Casada, top quality, says Ronnie. Getting some chops down there. Stephen loves Manchego cheese, now that he's back in Spain. What else we got going on? So a fair bit of talk there about cheeses, which is good to see. Now, another comment that was left recently, this one here, from Wooden Table. My company is pulling out of Madrid, Barcelona and Malaga because of the tax in Spain. We even survived the pandemic because the cost of doing business is just too high. As a film production company, the additional taxes, film licenses, local and state government fees and hidden costs makes it prohibitive to stay in Spain. The company has been in the country since 1983. Even my boss had meetings with local and national politicians to plead our case. Sadly, there was no movement. With that final meeting, the decision to leave was easy, and 40 years of skills, training and experience and expertise of doing business here will be lost, and leave over 49 Spanish people unemployed as we draw down the company over the next 7 months. There's some bad news there of a company shutting down, and this was related to a conversation about tax and the fact that Spain is not the most tax-friendly company for businesses nowadays. And this company here, well, it's been here since 1983, deciding to shut the shutters and leave the country, and putting 49 people, unfortunately, on the unemployment lists. But what can you do? The problems of doing business in a country like Spain, which, as I said, is not, well, it doesn't have a reputation as being a business-friendly country, although the government would like to think, or would like to tell you that it is getting friendlier. I don't think it's changing, because if you have a look at international rankings when it comes to taxes and just the ease of doing business, Spain is never in the top 10. It's never in the top 20. In fact, I don't even think it's in the top 30 when it comes to ease of doing business, which means getting a business set up, getting the licenses and all of those things, paying taxes, all of those things. Spain, not even in the top 30, I don't think. So problems when it comes to doing business and starting a business and running a business in this country. And as Wooden Table pointed out there, the company that they work for shutting down after many years in this country. Unfortunate to see. All right, now let's see. We're up to 36 minutes. I'll just go back into the chat section here quickly. Joe's making goulash on the cold New Jersey shore. Pamela coming in from a less cold Terreros. What else we got going on here? Joe asking the question, is there a good traditional Spanish beef stew? Yes, Joe, I'm sure that there is a traditional Spanish beef stew. One here that my partner's mother makes. It's called menestra, which is beef or lamb. I think you can put in that with other vegetables. It resembles an Irish stew, or what my mother called an Irish stew when we were growing up. I'm not sure whether it resembled a traditional Irish stew, but that's what she called it. Potatoes, carrots, beef or lamb or something in there as well, in a pot, and away you go. That's what it resembles, or at least to me, that's what it resembles. The menestra. That's what they call it. That's what she calls it anyway. All right, J-Op, late arrival, coming in from Wisconsin. Slightly warmer there. Canadian World War II historian. Madrid beer starting to get common in the pubs and supermarkets in the UK. Yes, that might be because it's owned by an international brewing company. That could be the reason, because here you hardly see Madrid beer. It can be found, but it's not common, I don't think. Juan coming in from Montreal, donde estamos en soleado con 7 grados. So sunny there in Montreal today. Estufado, beef stew and albondigas, says Daryl. Meatballs, yes, albondigas. I had some nice albondigas the other day. Pork meatballs with my menú del día. Lovely they were. And the first course that I had also was very, very good. In fact, I might go down to that restaurant soon with my camera and film a menú del video dia there, especially when it comes to these winter guisos, as they call them here in Spain, these platos de cuchara, where you eat them with a spoon. Spanish people love this type of food, and I too enjoy they're not soups, they're sort of like lentil dishes or chickpea dishes and things like that that you eat with a spoon, and that could be something to highlight in an upcoming video, so stay tuned. But you're right, Daryl, estufado and a beef stew, tasty. All right, Elaine loves manchego. Pay a little bit of money there at Costco. Have I visited Costco outside of Madrid? No, Elaine, I haven't, but I know people that go to Costco on a regular basis, especially people that have big families, because what I understand is that Costco is like supersize everything. If you buy some hot dog buns, you buy 25 or 30. if you buy a can of tomatoes, it's this huge can of tomatoes. So popular for families and also people that like to stock up and buy in bulk. But I haven't been to Costco on the outskirts of Madrid Elaine, no. But I think there's two in Madrid, two Costcos in Madrid. I could be wrong. There might only be one. But maybe there's another one. Maybe there's only 2 or 3 in Spain. That could be it. But anyway. And the wine at Costco here is not bad either. The Kirkland brand does a nice Rioja, which is also quite a nice drop. The Kirkland Rioja. What else got going on here? Plenty of activity in the chat section today. Thanks, guys, for that. Some people putting their opinions forward here. Somebody saying that Spain needs to get rid of Sanchez. He will destroy Spain. Well, there's going to be elections this year, so we'll see if the Spanish people re-elect Mr. Sanchez or not. December, I think it is. The right-wing press are unhappy about that, saying that he's going to squeeze the mandate, get everything out of it that he can, rather than call early elections. But I'm sure lots of people are waiting to cast their vote this year, not only in national elections, but also in municipal and autonomous community elections as well. So we'll see if there are some changes politically. All right, what else is going? Joe's off to watch the Supercopa. Good luck, Joe, for that. It's being played in Saudi Arabia. If you can work that out, I'll never know. The Supercopa de España played in Saudi Arabia for the dollars. And all of the fans that want to go to the game have to travel to Saudi Arabia. So work that one out if you can. All right, final comment today. This one here from Solidus. Hello, sir. Foreigner here from the US. I've been interested in making a move to Spain as an expat and wanted to learn more about the everyday political sphere. I have found this channel to be very educational. Thank you kindly. If you are ever stateside, lunch is on me. Thank you very much. I will look you up if I ever head stateside and take you up on that offer of lunch. But lots of people interested in moving to Spain, not only from the States, but also from other countries around the world. I get emails sent to me every now and again from people in countries like India and people on the chat section, the comment section, people from African countries as well. Is it easy to move to Spain? How can I move to Spain? Again, talk to an expert. Don't listen to me. This is just the community where we share ideas, but if you want professional advice, you have to pay for it, of course. And there's plenty of people willing to work out your immigration status and whether or not you can come here easily, whether you can get those access to those nomad visas and things like that. But yeah, plenty of people interested in coming to live here in Spain from, as I said, not only the United States, but Canada as well. A lot of interest. Australia, not so much. New Zealand either. But plenty of people in the Northern Hemisphere, at least, wanting to come and live in a country like Spain or Portugal for that matter as well. Dave is in the chat section. St. Pete to Madrid. Now it's St. Pete to St. Pete, I think, Dave, right? They're in Florida, enjoying some time away from the cold winter here in Spain, or Madrid at least. Getting some sun on those bones. Hope all goes well. And hope you had a good flight, Dave, yesterday. Brian saying a video on various cheeses would be an excellent idea, Stuart. Yes, Brian, I think it would be. Get some cheeses on the table. Sit down and try them. I'll work on my cheese vocabulary before I do that and try and get some fancy words to talk about cheese. And also wash it down with a nice glass of red wine. Dave checking in from the Sunshine State, absolutely Florida. Grant saying that some of the e-bike conversions are really good and places starting to get overstocked, so there should be really good prices soon. Yeah, thanks, Grant. Excuse me. There has been a problem in recent times getting your hand on an e-bike because of the shortage in supply. Lots of demand for bikes, but that is starting to change. Thanks for pointing that out, Grant. What else we got going on here? Costco, cheese plate. There we go, says Alan. They sell a cheese plate. It's probably a gigantic cheese plate at Costco. Pino y queso. Jay coming in from Pasadena. Juan, would cocido be considered a stew, says Juan. Absolutely. Madrid stew or Leon stew or wherever the cocido is from. Andalucía also does a cocido. Cocidos all around Spain. It would be a stew, exactly, Juan. So the Madrid stew, the cocido madrileño. If you're ever looking to satisfy your hunger on a cold winter's day, cocido madrileño. Plenty of chickpeas and other tasty things, potatoes as well, and a few meats also in that cocido. Nice. Remy's saying that, not many Aussies here, but I get picked up because of the accent, obviously. Yeah, not many Australians in Spain, I don't think, Remy, or at least on Australian passports. There's probably a few people that call themselves Aussies, but they travel on British passports or Irish passports or other types of passports. I've met quite a few over my time here. People that have lived in Australia all their lives, but of Spanish parents. They come back to live in Spain because parents come back. Met a few people like that as well. So, but people that only have an Australian passport, not many. I think where I live here, there's 4 of us. And in Madrid, I don't know how many there would be in total, but not a great amount of Australians, no. Distance is the problem, and also the Australian weather is decent and the job market's quite good, so people don't normally leave unless they're going on a holiday. A working holiday. Chris coming in, the latest he's ever joined. No problem, Chris. We're just about to finish up, 46-minute mark. So I'm going to say goodbye. Now, as I said, I'll be back tomorrow for another live stream. We'll try the new format out where I go through the news and the comments first and then go into the chat section in the second half of the video. Probably around 30-35 minutes, I would say. So stay tuned for that. Hope to see you then. Thanks for the participation, your participation today, not only watching the video, but also in the chat section. Plenty of debate there. And like I said, if you want to send your picture through to get on the backdrop here, that's the address. And as I said, you can send it through. I'll get around to putting it up eventually. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks, Alan, for the super chat. I'll see everybody again tomorrow. Hope you can join me then. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces.